All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mindgasms. We do another movie chat. Um, that is Die Hard 2 and John McClane and his Yippee ki motherfucker moments, of course. And this time he kills terrorists at an airport in LA instead of at, no, wait, in New York instead of at Nakatomi Plaza in LA. And he has to kill American terrorists and he gets betrayed by someone who ends up being working with the terrorists.
You
And
almost got it right. They're actually in DC in the
oh yeah,
airport.
you're right. They're in DC. Yeah, they mentioned that a few times, like when the planes are circling over top, and then uh, this time, John McClane's wife, Holly, is circling in one of the planes overhead that can't land because the terrorists have taken over the airport, and of course, that's uh woke centrist, aka Yippee ki centrist, aka Dustin Cubes, aka Dustin Cubit I have with me as always, and or as usual anyway. And yeah, that I found it interesting watching this movie this time because I've seen it like many times, but I guess this time I noticed some stuff that I didn't notice before. Like it seems ridiculously over the top, and and some of the dialogue is so funny because it's so over the top. And I still like it. The first one's definitely better though, but it's still good. It has all the action and all that stuff, and John McClane still, of course, gets his yippee motherfucker moment, and he's got a and then there's that surprise twist where the commando guys are actually working with the general are who end up kidnapping that foreign general who is working with the terrorists and that kind of stuff. And then there's that stuff that I mentioned earlier about how everyone is all astonished by amazing 90s technology like fax machines and airphones and pagers. Yeah, so yeah, it's still a good movie overall though for sure. But
Yeah,
yeah,
the
what did you
technology is definitely dated.
yeah, for sure. What did you think about it this time watching it?
I thought it was pretty cool. Like, I thought the setting was interesting. Like, that airport is probably 2 miles away from me currently right now.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so it's pretty close by that airport. Well, close to my job at least.
Right.
Um, But yeah, I thought so. Like I said, some of that dialogue is strange. Did you ever find out what a pinko bitch is? Because
No,
they keep
no, I
calling that
didn't even
reporter
I don't
lady like a
even know what
pinko
that
bitch.
means. I was watching his stand-up comedy special earlier too. I don't know if you've heard of him, this British guy Jimmy Carr. He's super offensive. He
Uh
said my favorite British insult. He called someone a daft cunt. You're a daft cunt. That's my favorite
huh.
British insult. But yeah, there are so many funny swears that seem so ridiculously gratuitous in that. And oh man, like that general talking to that reporter, I've got two words for you, fuck and you.
Yeah, and then like the other guy called her a pinko bitch, whatever that means.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking up what pinko means. Uh, oh, a person with left wing or liberal views. Oh, so it's like a swear against the lefty. Oh, I didn't even know that. What made
uh,
him think she was a lefty?
well, I guess like the the main villain is like a hardcore like anti-communist.
Yeah, that's true. He's like basically those American terrorists are answering communism with fascism because they're too threatened by communism.
Yeah, it's such a crazy plot, like compared to the others. Like their
Yeah,
motivations are definitely weird and odd.
yeah, yeah, for
As I
sure.
had
And
completely
there's
forgotten like the plot to the movie. So
oh,
I was
okay.
waiting for like the twist for like, oh really, it's about money, but that twist never happened. It always was like about political demand.
Yeah, it's not like the first one where Hans it turns out to be just common robbery.
Yeah, and the third one. So even the third one kind of has that same type of theme, where
Yeah,
you
and the
think
third
it's like
one,
this,
Hans's brother does the same sort of thing, posing as terrorists so they can rob Fort Knox.
right? Um, but yeah, overall, I actually thought it was pretty good. Pretty good action, like a lot of funny one-liners. But there's like some weird stuff that happens that kind of doesn't quite suspend your disbelief as much as it should. Like,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like it's more over the top than the first one. Yeah.
yeah, there's like a terrorist like hijacking, and then right away they're supposed to like contact, the correct authorities, and they don't. They try to wing it on their own.
Hmm.
And then they get fucked up. And they're like, oh, now we need to go call like the
Yeah,
army. I was like, yeah, that's what they should have done in the first place.
yeah, and it's so funny too. Like John McClane, he's not in his jurisdiction anymore because he's now an LA cop because he moved there for Holly, and so he keeps like prodding around where he's not supposed to be and trying to act like a cop even though he's not, and then he kills that terrorist and he's going around like killing a whole bunch of people, basically kind of just technically murdering people since he doesn't really have any power as a cop where he is there now. But I guess he didn't in the first one either because he was in LA when he was a New York cop. But
Right.
yeah, and he's so arrogant, and it's funny the way he is. But he's just like he's got that cowboy mentality, which is why his catchphrase is "Yippee ki motherfucker," right? And so he's the one who can get the job done to stop the terrorists.
Yeah, because I know in the first movie they called him, Hans Gruber called him John Wayne.
Yeah,
So and then he adopted that BPKA
yeah,
for basically every movie.
he's because he said I was actually also always more partial to Roy Rogers because that's the guy who said "Yippee ki I guess.
Right. uh,
I'm not sure I've seen any movies, old westerns with Roy Rogers, but I think I might have seen one or two with John Wayne. I'm not sure.
yeah, my Western consumption is fairly low, especially with like the older ones. Never got into them.
I haven't seen as many newer ones. I had a phase when I was in grade 7 and 8, I think, like it through a couple of summers, I think, where I got obsessed with reading classic Louis L'Amour Western novels. So I read a bunch of those, but that's it's mostly those and kind of movies based on those that I've seen in terms of Western. But that's cool too, because in Die Hard, like it shows how in the typical action movie, the hero generally has this kind of cowboy attitude, like I'm not going to listen to authority. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to stop the bad guys. And basically, John McClane does that.
Right, right. And then one of the real interesting things about this movie is that the stakes were far higher than the previous movie.
Yeah,
And
that's
now that
true.
I think of it, I don't think the stakes have been as high as this movie because we definitely got a payoff on the stakes when he
That's true.
crashes the plane.
Well, I don't know. In the fourth one, I think weren't they were gonna do like some sort of thing because they shut down the power and they were gonna do some sort of hacking thing to take. I guess they weren't gonna like launch nukes on America or anything like that, right? They were gonna take down take down all their electronic systems of all kinds or something like that.
I've seen the fourth one only once, and
Okay.
I couldn't tell you what the plot is. But I don't remember in any of the other movies where hundreds of civilians die.
Yeah, yeah, and the like they were basically threatening to potentially kill several planes full of people, which would have been, oh yeah, at one point that reporter guy who's trying to get a bunch of information and report on it just for his ego. He or someone else mentions that there are 1,000 people in those planes, and but basically, there's a difference with Holly in this one in that it's the same stakes for McClane because he wants to rescue Holly, but she's more of like the helpless damsel in distress, really. Except for she does tase that reporter guy who basically leaks to everyone on the news and everyone in general that there are terrorists and the information is being suppressed, and then she tased him. And there's that funny old woman that she's sitting next to that has the taser, and she said she tried it on her dog, and he was limping through
Oh, that's pretty messed up. Yeah, that lady's lost a few of her marbles, I think. But yeah, I do see what you mean by her kind of not having as strong a role this time around. Because last time she was kind of like the inside man.
hmm
Yeah, she was a hostage, but she was definitely being subversive about being a hostage and
hmm
trying to do things on her own to help the chances of the cops and McClane to help rescue them.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And this time she was just a passenger on the plane. She couldn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah, exactly. And 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 also, I don't like how Al is barely in this movie either. I mean, it makes sense, but all he does is send in the first one, he ends up shooting a guy to save McClane and Holly, and in this one, he sends a fax.
Yeah, the first Die Hard was very much like a buddy cop movie because there was like constant dialogue between him and Al. Um,
Yeah.
just like Al was trying to instruct the cops and not being assholes and hey, this guy is good. He knows what he's doing, and he's trying to communicate to like his brass that hey, we really need to take this McLean seriously. And they would talk about their lives and talking about his divorce. And they actually through those dialogues became great friends, and
hmm
that kind of paid off in the end. And this he's just relegated to a phone call to find out about like some dead terrorist
Yeah.
who is actually on paper who's been dead for like 2 years.
Yeah, that's how we found out that he's been assuming a false identity.
So yeah, that was like a bit disappointing that his role like took a backseat when
Yeah.
he was like one of my favorite characters from the first movie.
And he had like a few sidekicks in this one, like that janitor guy who helps him figure out where he's going with the maps. That's another ancient technology that's in this movie, these things called maps that we used to have instead of just Google Maps and GPS.
Yeah.
And then he has that guy, I forget what his name is, but that guy who figures out how to contact the airplanes without the terrorists knowing about it. I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
think
he
that
was
guy
kind of
was.
like the airport. He was like an engineer or something.
Yeah, I didn't think that guy was a particularly good actor.
The one that was like that helped him was trying to get to the annex or whatever.
Yeah,
That John McClane kind of saved his life.
yeah,
Yeah, I thought it was okay, but
and they had that
yeah,
guy who plays the T-1000 in Terminator 2,
yeah,
one of the terrorists who dies earlier in the movie.
yeah. He was like one of the first terrorists to die. But I was like, hey,
hmm
there's T-1000. He's the
Yeah,
bad guy, of course.
yeah, he's perfect as a bad guy. It's funny at the start of the movie too, when that general was doing naked Tai Chi.
Oh no, that was the general. Like, yeah, I was about to mention that. Like, what the hell? This kind of reminds me of like the opening to uh, that movie we talked about last week. Um, God
Saving
damn it.
Private Ryan?
No, the Vietnam movie.
Apocalypse Now?
Yeah, like that scene reminded me of Apocalypse Now, of how he's doing like karate, like inside of a room, a hotel room. Like
Oh
it had
yeah,
the
that's
kind of
true.
same sense of like craziness about them.
Yeah,
Like, what the hell is this guy doing? He's just like
yeah, that's a good point.
doing naked kata. Well,
That's what it is, Kaga?
I don't know if he was doing Tai Chi or like a kata because he was doing like kicks and stuff. And usually I don't see Tai Chi like they just do like really slow movements. They don't
Yeah, I
really
guess
do like kicks.
I guess that's why, because but that's a good point now that I think about it, because I used to do Tai Chi, and that's all it is really, like slow motion movements. But yeah, it's not like mimicking a martial art in with kicks or punches or anything like that.
Yeah, because he was definitely doing kicks and punches. So he's probably doing more like a kata or something.
Oh, okay, I've never even heard of kata before.
Katas are just they're usually associated with Japanese martial arts, but a kata is just kind of like a rehearsed um, set of moves that you do.
Right.
Like you would often see them do those types of things like during weapon demonstrations and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, kata is just like kind of different techniques linked together. Usually, whenever you watch like martial arts competitions, you'll see people like performing katas, which are just throwing punches and kicks and stuff. Or if they're with a weapon, you're like doing like these weapon moves and stuff. Like whenever it's associated with a Japanese type of martial art, it's called a kata.
I guess I've seen like sword demonstrations and stuff like that, but yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
But
Hmm.
yeah, I was like, this guy's nuts. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
we get to see some ripped dude like his ass, I guess.
They they show him like three times too. I'm like, okay, I get it. This is the naked scene with the guy. I get it.
Yeah, and I think they even show like his dick root, like when he was
Yeah,
about to leave.
they show his dick root and cut off like millimeters before they show his ass.
Yeah, and of course he shaves. He has like no pubes.
Yeah, I thought it was funny too because I just kept thinking, man, I work out. You can't get ripped from doing like slow motion martial arts stuff.
I think they were just trying to build up that he's like a dangerous person in hand to hand, which he kind of proves to be at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Because
It's funny when
McClane
he does
does
that
get his
thing.
ass
He
kicked.
does that thing when his alarm goes off on his watch and he takes the remote and he does like the mimicking a gun when he turns off the TV.
Oh, he does? I didn't notice that part.
Yeah, yeah, he points it at the gun and act he points it at the TV and he acts like it's a gun, like bang.
I guess I wasn't paying attention, but yeah, I
There's
didn't
so
notice that.
many
I just literally watched that like a couple hours ago.
I just finished it earlier too, actually. I watched some of it yesterday, but was too tired to finish it.
But yeah, the villain not quite as charming as Alan Rickman or Jeremy Irons. Um,
True.
I think Alan Rickman and Irons did better villains than this guy.
Yeah, I agree.
The guy that was like the colonel or was like the drug dealer guy. Like he was white.
Oh
He
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
like I noticed he was white because his Spanish accent was like totally off when he was speaking
Yeah, that's
Spanish. I
true.
was like, oh, this guy's not a native speaker.
Pendejo, puta,
It's
other
like,
words.
yeah, I was like, that has to be a white dude then, I guess, like a non-native Spanish speaker. Well, he's probably just saying lines, and he got coached to say those lines.
Yeah,
So I thought
yeah.
that
There's
was funny.
There's some funny moments like when they're attacking McClane when he's in the plane, when he gets there, when the general lands and they throw grenades in the plane and he hits
Oh,
the
dude,
eject
those
seat right
grenades
in front.
take like forever to
Yeah,
explode.
I know, right? They took like
That's
30 seconds to go off, at least.
yeah, and I was like, because I remember the scene in the movie, but I didn't remember that they threw grenades and it took that long to go off. Like, wow,
Yeah,
the
me
fuses
neither.
on those things are ridiculous. Because I remember in the trailers, because I watched this when it came out. Like all the trailers always showed the scene where he's like ejecting and getting blown
Mhm.
up at the same time and
I don't know if you
screaming. Like,
saw the in the thumbnail that I made for this. I found a picture of John McClane when he's coming out of the explosion after he hits the ejector seat with him with a Santa Claus hat on during that
no,
moment.
I didn't see your thumbnail.
Yeah, it's funny.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
And then he's like totally, he does talk about how the same exact thing happened to him previously on Christmas.
Yeah, yeah. How can the same thing happen to the same guy twice?
Yeah, he doesn't have quite the battle damage that he sustained from the first movie. Because, like, throughout the movie and
Yeah,
the first one, he's just, like, totally messed up by the end of the movie.
yeah. And he has to go around barefoot for the whole movie.
Yeah, and this one, he's like beat up, but it's just like blood. Like, his clothes aren't ripped to shreds or
Hmm.
anything like that. But he just has a cut up face, basically, by the
Yeah.
end of the movie.
That part is, I think, if I remember correctly, the first time I watched the movie, that little plot twist where I don't know, like the special forces guy, or I don't remember what group exactly they were with. There's a double cross, and it turns out that they're working with the general. I thought that was
Hmm
actually done fairly well. I wasn't expecting that the first time I watched it, at least.
I didn't even expect it the second time I watched it because I kind of forgot about that twist.
Oh, right, yeah, yeah, you mentioned that.
So I was like, oh crap. I completely forgot. Because I was like, okay, cool. They're like actually like forming like a bond. And then right away, he like double crosses them. It's like, oh shit. Um, and that was like the main guy is also the dude from Coming to America. He plays like the
Oh, I didn't
dad.
know that.
Is the guy that plays the owner of the McDowell's.
Oh, okay. That
Um,
was funny too. That was one one of the many over the top gratuitous swearing times where McClane says something like, "Oh, I'm glad you're not as much of an asshole as I thought you were." And he said, "No, McClane, I'm just your kind of asshole."
yeah, it's I guess what people would say this is the inferior um, Die Hard. It's still entertaining. It's not bad though. There
It's
were a
not as
couple
bad as
things that I
Die.
thought were strange. Like okay, so the guy McDowell, he fell off the plane and he flew into the engine.
Hmm.
Yeah, that totally would have blew the engine up.
Yeah, probably.
Because what happens is like whenever jets fly in the air and a bird gets caught in there, that fucks the engine up. So how is a
Yeah, that's
human
true.
not gonna fuck it up?
That's true. Yeah.
And it's just like a blood spray, you know. Yeah, what's gonna happen to all the bones and shit? Do they just like disintegrate into nothing?
Apparently. That was funny too. Um, John McClane's Yippee ki motherfucker moment. It was really over the top and probably unrealistic. Like I don't know if you can drop a lighter on a line of fuel and then it'll go up to a plane that has already started taking off just barely and still make the entire plane explode. I don't know how realistic that is, but that was pretty awesome and badass and appropriate for a Yippee ki motherfucker moment.
Yeah, I wish someone do like a myth bust on that just to see if it's possible.
Hmm.
I'd love to see someone trying to recreate that explosion. Like even like in a miniature, just get like a little miniature and try to do it that way. But that would be an interesting thing to try to myth bust.
Yeah, yeah. So, do you have a favorite moment in the movie? And also, what do you think is what is your favorite cheesiest moment?
My favorite moment is actually because this is like I said, it's not like the other diehards. And my favorite moment is what makes this different from the other diehards. Is when like McClane is like super depressed because the plane got blown up, and the guy who's like in charge of the air traffic control was like, "Yeah, I know you wish you could have done something about it." And then you just see like McClane just all depressed because he literally saw these people blow up, like, and when he went out there and he tried to flag the plane down. But yeah, that was like my favorite moment because it's unlike any of the other diehards. Um, but yeah, I know it's a strange favorite moment, but that's the
Yeah.
one I picked.
I get what you mean though. Like it's one of the moments where it shows that no, he is just human. He's not just this psychopath who loves to go around murdering people and has no remorse for it, or like he doesn't feel bad when hostages get killed by the terrorists, even though he's trying to prevent it from that happening, and that's his main motivation. But he even says
Yeah,
that line later on too. Uh, like when he's in that helicopter that the reporter is taking him to the airplane with. He says, "I hate flying," but and then she says, then why are you coming there?" And he says, "I also hate losing." So some of it is like an ego pissing contest, like it is with Hans in the first one.
yeah, because I have a couple of different favorite moments. I'd say that's one of them. The other one is the ejection scene. Even though like the
Yeah,
grenades
yeah,
take ridiculously long to blow up, I still remember really liking that when I first saw it.
yeah.
And my last favorite moment is when McClane begins to trust like the local cops more because they
Oh
were at
yeah,
odds like the whole time.
because
And he even got kicked out by him.
yeah, yeah. There's that guy who gave him a ticket when he first got to the airport at the start of the movie, and then that guy who's the chief of the airport police, who just isn't listening to him and isn't taking the threat seriously. So he has that grudge, and then finally they end up working together when he shows um, when he shows the guy who's the head of the airport police that the special forces guy who were firing at the terrorists, they were using blanks so they could stage the idea that they were fighting each other even though they were actually working together.
Hmm. So yeah, I like that part. And then when he gets into the car to go off to try to head him off at that, where were they going? I think they were going to the church.
Yeah, yeah, they went to the
So like,
church.
yeah. So when he gets in the car, it's like, oh yeah, meet my brother, like Vito or something.
Oh yeah, and
Mer-
he's the guy who gave him the ticket. Yeah.
like Merry Christmas, and he has like this big shit-eating grin on his face.
So what's your Oh, I gotta go pee for a sec while you answer this, but um, what was your favorite like awesome, amazing '90s technology in it?
Um, yeah, there were a couple things like wow, fax machines, really. They were like really amazed about having these fax machines. I thought that was pretty funny considering we have stuff like email, like, and we can send photos to each other now. But fax machines, they were the thing back then. That's how you would send documents before email was created or invented. You could send documents instantly as opposed to sending them through the mail. I remember one of my jobs, I had to send faxes all the time. Um, like especially if I had to write a report and or send something to the main office, I'd actually have to use these fax machines. Uh, and they were kind of annoying to use. But another one that caused them a bit of trouble was the pager. Like the
Yeah,
pager, like messed him up royally when he was trying to sneak into the church, and his wife is trying to contact him, and it gives
yeah,
away his position, and he gets attacked. So while
yeah.
you were
No,
away, I also talked about the fax machine and how archaic they were, and my experience
yeah,
with
yeah,
using a fax machine myself.
yeah. That's funny. And he gets that woman at the desk to help him with it, and he's all confused. How do you do this complicated stuff here? I can't figure it out.
Yeah, and then the woman like flirts with him, and he points to his wedding band.
I didn't even notice that until watching it this time, even though I've seen it so many times, that he has that lame pun in response to her. He shows her his wedding ring and he says, "Just the facts, ma'am, just the facts." Like the obvious pun of it being the news, old-fashioned news broadcaster.
Oh, I actually didn't catch that part.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
didn't catch
facts
that
as in
until just
FACTS?
yeah, I think so.
Oh, I thought he was just talking about that he only wanted to take care of that fax.
Maybe I just interpreted that as a dad joke this time.
No, it might have been a dad joke because there are definitely dad jokes in this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think of the one-liners this time around?
I
Not
thought
as strong.
they were better in the first one, but they were they were definitely funny in this one.
Yeah. What was your favorite?
Oh man, I don't know. Like any of the like over the top gratuitous swearing oh yeah, one of my favorites, this might be my favorite, was when that guy who's the chief of the airport police when he first declines what McClane is saying after he kills that first terrorist when he's attacking the first two of them, and he's all pissed off. And when he leaves, I forget what his name is. Is it? I'll just say Ferroni, even though I know that's not his name. Like it was
Which you're talking about the airport cop?
yeah, yeah,
His name is Carmine.
Carmine, right. So yeah, the line was, "Hey Carmine, when you go through the metal detector, what sets it off first? What sets it off first? Uh, the lead in your wait, the lead in your ass or the shit in your brains?"
He said that?
Yeah,
Man, I
yeah,
must have missed that part.
it was funny. Uh, and of course the yippee ki motherfucker moment before he drops the lighter and it causes the plane to explode. That was really cool too.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting like way to resolve that. Because they basically killed everybody on that plane. I also thought it was stupid that the general like shot the both of the pilots, where he
Oh yeah, when he's
obviously
first landing, when like he hijacks the plane to land, even though that was kind of completely unnecessary.
yeah, because he just made it worse for himself.
Yeah,
Like yeah, he could fly planes and shit, I guess, but he like shot out the window and he had to like land right away. So it kind of just messed him up.
yeah,
Like he
yeah.
created like a
It was
false.
unnecessary. Like the people, the original pilots, they would have had to listen to the terrorists anyway, just like everyone else does, because they have control of the airport.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a different movie from the first.
Hmm. Still good though. Still qualifies as a Die Hard movie. The
Yeah,
my
I
least
was pretty
favorite.
shocked when the plane got blown up. I
Oh
was
yeah,
expecting him to like save it somehow.
the plane full of hostages. Yeah, the
Yeah.
British Airways plane, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because you get like a little scene from everybody on the plane, and then like the stewardess is like trying to calm down this little old lady
Hmm.
when she gets blown up. And like the pilot's like the dude from Star Trek Next Generation. He's like the engineer. Do you
Yeah,
remember him?
he's in lots of movies and TV shows.
Yeah, he plays what's his character? He's in Deep Space Nine too.
Oh, okay.
'Cause he's one of the characters that came over from the Next Generation. Because I know Worf also carried was carried over. His name
Right.
is Colm. His plays Miles O'Brien is the name of the character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, there you go. Um,
What did you think about that guy who was that kind of asshole reporter who had put a restraining order against Holly before?
yeah, I was trying to remember. Was that guy from the first movie?
I don't. I think it is. I didn't remember the first couple times I watched it. I think he might be that reporter who's really trying to get the story in the first one. Yeah, I think it is. She punches him. Yeah, that's why she punches him at the end of the first one because
Okay.
he asked them questions and she knows that he had been like he threatened to deport her nanny who was watching their kids and that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. And they got put on the same plane. Hmm.
Yeah. And that's funny. That flight attendant offers her champagne when she finds out that she punched him out.
Oh yeah, that's right. And he was
He's,
getting uncomfortably close to her, and she commented on his breath and aftershave.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You should get some better aftershave and better mouthwash.
Man, the guy that played Colonel Stewart, like I'm looking at his picture now, he's like old now. It's
Oh
weird.
yeah. Well, it's like 30 or so years after that, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty old movie.
Yeah.
But apparently, the guy that played the general um, is an Italian actor, which is probably why his Spanish sounded so bad.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's weird too because Italian and Spanish are relatively similar languages.
Well, it's the accent, you know.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah,
accent
that's
that
true.
that makes it believable.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
how
that's true.
and it wasn't very good. Oh, did you notice that John Leguizamo was in the movie?
Oh yeah, I was wondering if that was him. He had that part. He was like one of the painters who was pretending to be who, or one of the terrorists who was pretending to be a painter with that guy who plays T-1000 in Terminator 2.
uh, no, he was like messing. He was a guy with a blowtorch that was messing around with some electrical panel. I think he was like
Oh, okay.
cutting some of those electrical lines. But they
Oh,
should
okay.
literally show his face for like 3 seconds, just like real quick.
Oh, okay. I guess I might have been confusing him with another guy.
Yeah. But
That's
yeah, there's
interesting too. Like that part with the terrorists who are posing as painters when the SWAT team comes in and they first start shooting at each other. I looked at the display and was thinking, this is like a stereotypical over the top action movie, but unlike movies today, because this is a '90s movie, the first shooting didn't start until 45 minutes into the movie. That like wouldn't be allowed on a high budget blockbuster action movie nowadays.
well, was it really 45 minutes?
Yeah, it was 45 minutes into it. They spent the whole first 45 minutes setting up the plot basically and all the characters.
Oh wow. So that's when he didn't kill the first terrorist until 45 minutes in. Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't even
yeah.
notice that.
Oh wait, no, actually, when he no no no, it must have been sooner than that because he must have killed that first terrorist when he's fighting the two
In the
terrorists in the
baggage
luggage.
area.
Yeah, in the baggage area. I think that happened earlier, but the terrorist it didn't first attack until 45 minutes in, which is like 'cause, like they're the main villains in the plot, and I guess he still does kill one of the main villains earlier on, but we don't get like the terrorists doing their attack and setting up everything that happens until 45 minutes into the movie. I think it probably
Oh.
takes a while to set up all that stuff in the first one too. But like
Mm,
nowadays, there would be the terrorists would come right in and they would do their plot from the start of the movie or something like
mm. Did you get thrown off um, by the guy named Trudeau?
that. Yeah, a little bit. Even the first time I watched it because the Pierre Elliott Trudeau, who was our prime minister in the 70s, is like way more famous than Justin Trudeau.
Okay. Did you know that the guy who played Trudeau was in fact served as a U.S. senator?
No, I didn't know that.
He served as a senator for almost 10 years.
Oh, okay. Oh,
He was
interesting.
the senator for Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
So he was a Republican senator.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
is he still alive? No, he died. He died in 2015.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he looked fairly old, even back in this movie in the 90s.
Yeah, he died at 73. But yeah, that's weird. I was looking at the cast headshots, and in his picture, it's like an American flag off to the side. I was like, was this guy a politician? And I like clicked on his Wikipedia page, and yep, he was a politician.
Oh,
Man, he did
okay.
a lot of shit apparently, because it's like an American politician, attorney, lobbyist, columnist, actor, and radio personality.
Oh, wow. When was he a politician? Does it say that?
94 to 2003. And he
Oh,
ran for
so
president in the Canada primaries in 2008.
oh, okay.
So he
When
must have
did Die
been
Hard 2
McCain.
when did Die Hard 2 come out again? Die Hard 2. Oh,
Uh,
1990. Oh, okay.
yeah,
So I was wondering if he was in the movie before he was running for governor. So yeah, it was 4 years before.
yeah. Another movie he was in was The Hunt for Red October. In the line of,
Oh, okay.
he was
Okay.
also in the line of fire. So he was actually a politician. No, no, he was the 1 year before he was a politician. In the line of fire is, I don't know. Have you seen that Clint Eastwood movie?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen that one.
He's also in Days of Thunder and also in Cape Fear.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen those two.
And he also was on Law and Order, which is a
Oh, okay.
TV show. And
Hmm.
he joined the cast in 2002 for for that.
Oh, okay. Hmm. Yeah,
And
I
he was
never really watched that
also
much of that.
a lawyer that was appointed counsel during the Watergate committee.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he has an interesting history.
Yeah. Huh.
Wow.
Um, oh, yeah, I was gonna say earlier, the definitely by far my least favorite Die Hard movie is the fifth one, A Good Day to Die Hard. That's the only one I watched where I thought, man, this is terrible and doesn't even qualify as a Die Hard movie. Have you seen that one? That's the newest one.
I think the last one I watched had a fighter jet in it. Is that it?
No, that's the fourth one.
Okay,
It's
then I
called
don't believe
Good
I've seen the fifth one then.
Okay. It's not worth it in my opinion. Even though I do actually like the fourth one. I like that one. I like that one more than this one actually, I would say. Um,
The fourth one?
yeah. Only if you watch the unrated version though, because the theatrical version of the fourth one they made it PG-13 for some reason, so they cut out most of John McClane's swearing, which is stupid. Like John McClane should fucking swear. He's like a
PG
foul-mouthed rebel
13.
cop. Yeah,
Oh, that's weird.
yeah. So in the unrated version, he actually is swearing like John McClane would swear, and it's bloodier, I think, a little bit too.
Yeah, that's really weird. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why they did that. I don't think they did that with the fifth one, but the fifth one was still worse.
This guy that played Trudeau was in the 116 episodes of Law and Order.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, between 2002 and 2007.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an interesting guy. Yeah.
So of the four Die Hard movies that you've seen, how would you rank them?
Ah, that's a good. That's a good. I haven't seen four recently, but I remember like four better than two. So I would say one, three, four, and two.
Okay. I think I would say one, four, three, and two. Only if
Do you
you
like
watch the
four better
unrated
than
version.
three?
I think so, but only the unrated version. If there isn't John McClane swearing, it's not as good. I like the third one. I like the third one a lot though. Like Samuel Jackson going along with John McClane for it, and him being hungover and like out of shape and really like divorced from his wife and worn out for the whole movie. All that stuff and Hans's brother being a terrorist. All that stuff is
Yeah, part three really reminds me of them trying to get back to the essence of the first movie. Because
yeah,
basically Samuel L. Jackson kind of replaces Al, except they have
mhm,
more of a contrarian relationship in that.
yeah,
But at least it's like a buddy movie where they're trying to do the things together.
yeah.
And then you have a very similar plot where it's like terrorism, but it's actually in the sake of a heist.
Hmm.
And then Jeremy Irons is just a great actor anyway.
Yeah, yeah, he's a good villain for sure. That's probably that has to be my favorite Jeremy Irons role, I would say.
Yeah, it's probably mine too. Now that I think about it. But yeah, so I like him in that order.
Cool.
One, three, four, two. But I really got to watch four again. I've only watched it once.
Yeah. Well, I want to eventually do movie chats on the first four of them, not the fifth one, because that one kind of sucks.
Oh, you want to do the fifth one?
You could if you want to like complain about it.
Is it that bad?
I didn't think it was terrible. I just thought it was kind of meh, kind of mediocre.
Nah. Well, I don't even know if it's. I don't think I've seen it, so I don't. I wouldn't know.
You can watch all of them on Disney Plus.
Really? I don't remember them
Yeah,
seeing them on Disney Plus. Maybe your
yeah, I watched
Canadian Disney Plus is different.
maybe it could be because we know the Netflix selection is different, right?
Yeah, because I remember you saying something else was on Disney Plus, and I never found it on Disney Plus.
Okay. You don't remember what it was?
No, it was. What was it? I think you said it was Deadpool or
Oh,
something like
okay.
that, and I never found that
Logan was
on.
on there. Logan was on there too. For me, it was anyway.
I don't remember, but I ended up watching this on Peacock TV, which is like a free app.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Peacock is one of our networks. It's NBC, like NBC's streaming service.
Oh, okay.
It
Oh,
was
okay.
also on Tubi TV. I don't know if you use that or not.
I've heard of that, but I haven't used it before.
Yeah, because I was trying to get it from my usual sources, but the pop-ups just wouldn't go away.
Hmm.
And when I did
It's
find,
kind of
I found
annoying.
two videos that could have worked, except it wouldn't let me download them
Oh, okay.
because I usually download them to my tablet and just watch them without having to connect to the internet.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, with that
But
website, the pop-ups can be annoying. But there are a million pop-ups every time you want to pause it, so you have to kind of watch it all the way through without pausing it if you don't want to get a million pop-ups.
yeah, it's ridiculous. It's crazy how many damn pop-ups happen.
Yeah,
It's almost non-functional.
yeah,
And then there's like porn pop-ups, so you can't
yeah.
like do
That's
it in the
funny
middle
too.
of the day when there's
And
people around.
some of them are like porn pop-ups that are pretending to be dating apps or like pretending to be women who are randomly trying to get your attention or something like that.
Yeah, it's stupid. Like,
Yeah,
does anyone fall for that bullshit? Like,
some
why?
people do, I guess.
Oh, look at this hot girl trying to message me. Let me click on that.
I guess like really desperate guys in particular, perhaps. Like, oh wow, a really hot woman wants to suck my dick? Never even met her before. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, two is okay. It's not a bad movie. Um, but I do like a couple, like most other Die Hard movies more.
Yeah, yeah, me too. It's a really good movie though.
Yeah, was it directed by the same? Do you know who directed two?
I think it was directed by a different guy than the one who directed the first one. I'm gonna double check. I'm pretty sure I saw. Yeah, yeah. First one's directed by John McTiernan. I'm pretty sure the second one is directed by a different guy. Um, let me see. Yeah, directed by Rennie Harlan. Yeah, different directors.
Who directed the third one?
Let me see. Um, I'm gonna have to actually click on the page this time. Other ones, if
Hmm.
I just searched it, it came up with the director instantly. Oh, the third one is produced by John McTiernan, who directed the first one. Oh, that's interesting.
Was it directed by someone else?
Um, do. It looks like it was not directed by him. Let me see. Cast, development, and writing, casting. Um, one script. Hmm, what? Apparently, the script that was originally going to be used for the movie was turned into the Lethal Weapon sequel.
What?
That's weird.
What?
Oh,
That's
Lawrence Fishburne was originally offered a co-starring role too, but wanted a higher fee.
oh
In the
wow.
third one I'm talking about. Oh,
So
so
it's
that's
gonna
why
be
Samuel
Lawrence
Jackson.
Fishburne instead of Sam Jackson.
Yeah, instead of Sam Jackson.
Well, I'm glad we
Oh,
got Sam Jackson.
yeah. He's the like you can't beat the Samuel Jackson yelling. He has to like Lawrence Fishburne can't yell the way that Samuel L. Jackson can. Oh, that's funny. I think that I have to go to this on IMDb because it's not showing the director here. But
That's
yeah,
strange.
like
If you
it
go
looks.
to the, did you see if you can find it on Wikipedia?
I just was looking on. Oh, the third one is directed by John McTiernan. Oh, that makes
Okay.
sense. That's why it's better than the second one. Because the first one was directed by the same guy, and the second one was directed by a different guy.
Okay. Yeah, I remember. I actually went to the theaters to see Die Hard 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So,
I was 2 years old at that time.
I think I was. When did it come out?
1990.
So I was like 9.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Your parents took you to see an R-rated movie when you were 9?
Well, the way it works is we would go to the budget theater, and the budget theater shows you 3 movies for like a very, very low fee. As a budget theater are like movies that have been out for like 6 months.
Right. Yeah,
And that was like,
they used to do something like that in the old movie theater that used to be here, but isn't anymore. Every once in a few times a year they would have like really cheap movie times, and they would play a bunch of movies that came out 6 months ago or something like that.
yeah, so at the budget theater, it was just one room, one theater room. And they charge you one fee, and you get to watch 3 movies, and they play them back to back. So you would basically spend your whole day there watching the movies. And
Oh,
Die
okay.
Hard
Never
2 was one of
actually-
the 3 movies.
Oh, okay. I've never actually been to a double or a triple feature like that. That would be something fun to experience, actually.
Yeah, we used to go to this theater all the time um, when I was a kid because it was cheap and um, and you got to see 3 movies. And I remember when I was a teenager, I would always like sneak in a second movie. That was
Right.
fairly simple to do back then.
Yeah, it depends on the movie theater. There aren't always people there. You have to make sure you have the right ticket for the right theater.
Right. So, yeah, we would just do that. I'd say, hey, let's catch this other movie after we're done with this one. Yeah, okay. No harm, no foul. They're going to get extra concession money. It'll be all good.
Oh, you would go get more snacks, eh?
Yeah, and more concessions.
Right. I never
Plus, that's where
even.
they make all their money anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I never even. Well, hardly ever get stuff from the concession anymore. I do if I'm going somewhere. I'll get like a pretzel dog or a homemade pretzel or something like that. But I used to get popcorn all the time, and then I would really like those nachos. And sometimes the movie theater that I would go to would have cotton candy too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I just like getting popcorn and stuff, you know. I think popcorn, you get some Powerade and popcorn, and I don't usually get candy or anything like that. Well, it's mostly just I was there for the popcorn. 'Cause the popcorn lasts forever,
Yeah.
like the whole movie, and it's depending on where you go. I remember at this budget theater, the popcorn was like really cheap, and it was like unlimited refills. So you just buy this huge ass bucket, and then when you're done, you just go up and they fill it back up again. Nowadays, what is this like $6 for a popcorn?
Yeah. Yeah. I often, if I'm bringing snacks if I get snacks to the theater, I just like smuggle in some stuff like some I don't know like a chocolate bar or something, and maybe some healthy stuff too.
Yeah, smuggling is usually the way to go. I remember I would smuggle and like go to the Walmart and then buy some snacks or smuggle in something from the Taco Bell. like a couple Taco Bell tacos in my pockets.
Yeah, when I used to go to the movie theater, that isn't there anymore, but there was a movie theater downtown that was right across the street from this really great sandwich and wrap place, a local one called Mitchell's. So I would say sometimes when I would go to the movie theater all the time with my friend, we would go and buy ourselves some sandwiches or wraps from Mitchell's and then go and blaze in his car and then smuggle our sandwiches into the theater right after we got baked. So it would be just set up perfectly to have our snacks well baked as the movie starts.
hmm Yeah, those were the days, man, when I had a lot of free time. Yeah, the only
Yeah,
time I go to the movies now, well, I don't really go much anymore because of COVID, but
yeah. I
because you
haven't
gotta,
gone since they instituted like the COVID passport thing at they don't have it everywhere, but they have it here at places like movie theaters and at the pool.
what's a COVID passport?
Well, it's like that thing where you have to show proof of vaccination when you go there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we got, sometimes you gotta do that here. It's called a COVID, it's called a CDC COVID vaccination card. The
Yeah,
CDC.
now the way they do it here now is you can like you get an app and then they give you kind of like a barcode thing that you can take a screenshot of on your phone and then they scan a barcode thing on your phone.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't been to theater in ages. And the last thing I watched in theaters was Frozen 2. I
I
took my
think
daughter
the
to see
last
that.
one I think the last one I saw was Tenet. That was like 2 years ago because I usually make sure to go to a movie in the theater on my birthday, and I didn't go this year because they had just instituted the thing where you need proof of vaccination, and I didn't want to have to show proof of vaccination, and I only had like the receipt for my vaccination. I didn't have the whole like barcode thing, so I thought they might not let me in the theater anyway. So I just watched a movie at my friend's house instead.
Yeah, I usually made a habit to go to all the Marvel movies. Um, and I think the last one I went to was, shoot, did I go to? I think the last one I saw in theaters was Black Panther, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh wow, yeah, that was years ago.
Yeah, so that was like the last one I saw in theaters. 'Cause I think the Infinity Gauntlet ones I watched at home. But yeah, oh, let's see, that was the last one. And that was a while ago. That was
I
the
don't
last
think
at least Marvel movie I've seen in the theater.
I don't think I've seen that many of them in the theater actually. I definitely saw the first Avengers movie, and I think I watched Captain America Winter Soldier and Captain America Civil War, and I watched the first two Iron Man movies. Um,
In the theater or at home?
yeah, in the theater. I don't think I watched any of the rest of them in the theater. I watched most of the rest of them at home because they've been on the streaming services at one time or another. The only one I still haven't seen is Captain Marvel. I
Yep,
haven't watched
so I haven't seen that.
I haven't watched the new Black Widow was okay.
You've
Um,
seen it?
yeah, that's on Disney Plus now too. At least it is for me. It probably is for
Yeah.
you too. It's pretty like
Even that
popular
new one
movie.
is on Disney Plus for me. The one with the Asian guy.
Oh, the Eternals, is that's what it is?
No, that new one that came out in theaters with the Asian dude, like
Um
Shang-Chi or something like that.
oh, the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, is that what it is?
Yeah, that one's on Disney Plus for me.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure if it is for me. I'll have to check. But
Yeah, and that one came out in September, and it's already on Disney Plus for me.
oh wow. Usually the ones I think for me, the ones that come out on Disney Plus, usually or I mean the ones that come out in theaters, usually I have to wait like at least 3 months, maybe 6 months for them to come out on Disney Plus.
Yeah, there's so much Marvel stuff on there now. Like, I haven't seen any of the new TV shows. Like, I haven't
I
seen
haven't either.
Loki. I
Yeah,
haven't seen
I haven't seen
stuff,
Loki, I haven't seen WandaVision, I haven't seen uh The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I haven't
and then the
seen
Hawkeye's a new one.
yeah, I haven't seen Hawkeye either.
I started watching WandaVision. Man, is it a weird show? I watched like the
Yeah.
first 2 or 3 episodes. I was like, man, like what the hell is this show? It's really weird and interesting.
I think it's
If you
supposed
ever
to
start it and you watch the first episode, you're like, what the hell is this?
be yeah, I'll definitely watch it at some point. I heard that it's some sort of parallel reality situation where people in that reality don't know that they're superheroes.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like if you saw it, you're gonna be like, what the fuck am I watching? Um, but yeah, I haven't seen any of those. I heard they're good too. Just haven't got around to them. There's like so many different goddamn shows that I'm watching.
There are way too many shows. I think it's a good problem to have though. I've been I just recently finished watching this a season of that show called The Strain, which is based on those vampire the trilogy of vampire novels that were co-written by Guillermo del Toro, which
Hmm.
is a really cool vampire series, and the books are great too. And so I started watching season 5 of Game of Thrones because I'm still catching up on that too.
Wow, you're starting season 5.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah,
yeah,
and there's 8 seasons, my man.
yep. So I got basically half of the series to watch because I just barely started season 5. Um,
Okay.
oh, did you watch the 4 hour long Snyder cut of Justice League yet? I just finished that earlier. I don't remember whether it was earlier this week or last week.
Where did you find it?
I found it on Crave TV, which is a streaming app that I have that has some stuff that's on HBO, and they recently even put some stuff out on there that's on HBO Max. Because before there was HBO Max, you could get all the stuff from HBO on there, but since they started HBO Max, they took out most of the newer stuff. Like you could only watch the new Mortal Kombat movie on HBO Max, but they put some of the newer stuff, relatively newer stuff like the Snyder Cut of Justice League and Wonder Woman 1984 and the new Suicide Squad movie on there.
Yeah, I'll have to find it on my super secret site because according to what I've been researching, it's a HBO Max exclusive,
Okay.
and I don't have HBO Max.
Yeah, I bet you can probably find it on there. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
I'll have to.
saying, I won't get into any spoilers, of course, but yeah, I think that it's not like a super amazing movie, but I do think it is way better than the theatrical version. The theatrical version was just like really bad.
Yeah, I didn't much like that theatrical version. I was like, yeah,
I think the
I think
like
this Justice League is kind of weak compared to like Marvel.
yeah, that's one of the things even in this version, the superheroes themselves, their powers aren't anywhere near as cool really. And but the some of the things that were better in the Snyder cut were they had more time to really do more character development. So especially with the Flash and the human cyborg, they actually made you empathize with those characters more, and the world building of the DC universe was more intricate, and the plot was more detailed. Like there's actually a kind of like a Trinity slash hierarchy of supervillains in this one. Instead of just Steppenwolf, there are two other villains above him, and there's this whole thing with like there's this little part that hints at like the a dark DC alternate universe, which I think it would have been cool if they had fleshed out that more. And the final battle was done in a cooler way too. But yeah, I think it's better overall because of that, and it's interesting. I think.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll try to find it. Hopefully, I can find it on super secret site.
Yeah,
Then I can watch it. Otherwise, I'm gonna have trouble finding it. I believe
yeah.
getting
We'll have to
past all
see
those stupid porn pop-ups.
yeah, we'll have to see if Shizan and Chris watch it and join us for that too. I'd be interested to see their thoughts on it, especially Chris, because it seems like he watches less of like he's like less into the big blockbuster nerdy superhero movies.
Yeah, I'm like super into superhero movies. I know they're like super cliche. I'm like, yeah, I love these characters or characters I grew up with. I read some of their comic books, and there's a lot of nostalgia involved in me watching these characters on screen. And it is funny because a lot of these comic book superhero movies are usually based on source material, but are widely different. So it's like one of the things where the cinematic universe actually improves upon the original stories. Because some of these
Oh
original stories are like super wacky, like especially the Infinity Gauntlet. Like if you read the
yeah,
original, you would be like, ah, this is weird.
I remember you said something before also about how in in the storyline that Infinity War and Endgame are based on there, especially in Endgame, there isn't any of that time travel stuff that happens in the movie.
Nope, no time travel.
Yeah, time travel is a pretty interesting part of the movie, and it's like central. They make it central to the plot too.
Yeah, and the main character is different, totally different. Because the main character's name is Adam Warlock
Oh,
for
okay.
that thing, and apparently, um, what I was reading is that they're going to introduce Adam Warlock in the next Marvel movie.
Oh, okay. Like they're gonna
So
make. Are they gonna make Avengers 34?
I have no idea what they're gonna do at all. I have no clue. Well, maybe that's what they're trying to do.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's
Probably
very
maybe
widely
trying to
divergent.
build. Maybe they're trying to build a new Avengers with all of these secondary characters who are getting their own shows and movies now, like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Spider-Man can now be in there because there isn't this thing with Fox preventing Spider-Man from being Marvel anymore.
Yeah, it's I think same thing with the X-Men. Um, because the X-Men was owned by Fox, like only Fox could make X-Men movies. But we'll have to see what they're going to do with X-Men because they've basically all of their main plot lines have been on the screen, and then all the actors who played like the original X-Men are like too old to play the X-Men now.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I heard that like Hugh Jackman, for example, has said that he's tired of playing Wolverine, kind of like how Robert Downey Jr. got tired of playing Iron Man so many times. Like he was in 2 dozen, he played Iron Man in 2 dozen films or so, probably, or at least a dozen.
Yeah, and all of the Marvel movies. So he was kind of like the first. With the
Hmm.
first Iron Man was like the first, um, kind of like the start of the MCU,
Hmm.
and then it just he's like the original. So we'll see, man. I don't know, like I don't know how the new Marvel movies are gonna play out. It seems like they kind of peaked with the Infinity War stuff, but who knows? what they're gonna do next. Because the
Yeah,
Infinity War
world building.
storyline is actually pretty damn old. Um, it's
Oh,
not a
okay.
modern story. Because I read the comic book and the art looked old. Like it didn't look like a modern comic book art.
Oh, okay.
So um, let me see
One
if
of
I could
those
get the.
one of those improvements that I think like I haven't read anywhere near as many comics as you, but I think I was telling you before when I read some of the Deadpool comics, and I thought one of the things that was an improvement is that Deadpool was still wisecracking in the comics, but he didn't swear a whole lot or anything like that. And I think it's cool how he comes up with these hilarious, really creative swears, and it's like super violent and bloody in the movies in comparison to the comic books.
Right. So I went and looked it up. Infinity Gauntlet. That story is actually was published in 1991.
Oh, okay.
So it's not. So, and even I think Civil War, that storyline is much more recent than Infinity War.
Oh, okay.
So they're definitely out of sequence in the MCU.
Hmm.
Because I
Yeah, that
think
makes
Civil War was because there's been more than one Civil War. So I don't know. Are they going off of the first one? Um, it was actually in 2006. That's when that storyline happened in the comic book.
Oh, so that wasn't that long before the movie, I guess, right?
Right, it's much more recent than the Infinity War, which was in the 90s, early 90s. So yeah, it's out of sequence and pretty divergent from the original source material because I did read the Civil War. I went back and read it, and I went back and read Infinity Gauntlet stuff. And yeah, the it's pretty far from the original source material.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh. I need to switch my headset battery. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I heard you charge
What
your
did it
headphones.
say?
Say, do you need to charge or something like that?
You can actually hear that? That's weird.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna pop in a new battery.
Okay. Yeah, it's it's interesting that the storylines can diverge that much. But it's understood it makes sense given with everything that happens and how those movies are getting made because you have to think about which actors are playing which roles, how much they want to repeat their performances and all that stuff we were talking about in terms of Fox having owned the rights to Spider-Man and X-Men for such a long time. And like in Marvel comics, I guess they don't want to have like a whole bunch of swearing like would have happened with Deadpool if it were more similar to the movie version.
Still working on this headset.
All right.
Let me know.
Yeah, so the original Infinity War plot happened sometime in the 90s, sometime well in the same decade as the Die Hard series. Wonder if there definitely would have been technological differences if they had made a movie adaptation based on it back in the 90s, kind of like how they're all impressed with fax machines and pagers and airphones in Die Hard 2.
Yeah, a lot of the Infinity War, like the fight itself, takes place in like a weird alternate dimension.
Oh, okay.
And Gamora's role is definitely very different.
Oh, yeah?
Wolverine is one of the main characters in the
Oh,
Infinity
okay.
War,
Oh, okay.
and the motivation for Thanos is not that people are bad and we need to kind of thin the herd a bit and overpopulation. Like his main motivation for doing what he did, like the snap in the comic books, is because he's in love with Death, because Death is like an entity in the Marvel universe, and he's trying to woo her. He wants basically to marry her, and in order to do that, he's just killing a bunch of people with the snap.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. That storyline's weird in the comic book.
So how is Gamora's role different?
And in the comic book,
Yeah.
she um she never teams up with any of like the superheroes. She's constantly at Thanos' side, and she tries to stop him. So she like he turns her like into a zombie,
Oh
but
wow.
ultimately like their familiar connection, she's able to break through the Thanos somehow. It's like weird. I'd have to like actually take a look at it again. But she's like a pivotal um, piece of the puzzle that ultimately caused Thanos to be defeated.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit different. Um, of course, it's a 30-year-old story, so they had to update a lot of stuff.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Hmm.
I'm trying to check out the main plot summary of Infinity War. I know the main plot is based off of Adam Warlock, who I think he has possession of like the mind jewel or something like that. And uh, yeah, it's really weird.
Hmm. Is it as weird as the drawing of the three, the second Dark Tower book that we've been reading?
Um, no, it's weirder than that. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
total 90s comic booky type of sappy story,
Oh,
you
okay.
know. It's not at all modern.
Oh, okay.
The Drawing the Three is such a weird book.
Yeah, I know.
But it's
Yeah,
funny though. Like, did you
yeah.
read it or did you listen to it?
I didn't finish it yet, but I've been reading it.
Okay, because I've been listening to it, and the guy that narrates it sounds exactly like Dan Carlin.
Oh, oh yeah, I remember now that you mentioned that in our chat group. He does sound like Dan Carlin, yeah. That'd be funny explaining all that weird shit in a Dan Carlin voice. Especially
So
like
anyway, like, and he
especially
does
like
the
that woman Odetta when she's in her alternate personality where she's talking like a
Hunk
stereotypical old
Muffas.
fashioned. Yeah, yeah. You hunky mofas.
Yeah, that's she's like super annoying character, but
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious that you got this white dude just like reading the story, and then he goes into like Odetta's voice, and he does it like perfectly. It's just so funny.
Oh yeah.
There's so much like funny stuff. Just anything Odetta says is funny.
Yeah.
Um, Odetta's creepy as fuck as well.
And it's so like it's so weird that it could only come from the mind of Stephen King, all the weird like
Was this like
fantasies
during his
that
cocaine years?
well, it came out in 1990, so I think it probably was.
What were the cocaine years for Stephen King?
That's a good question. I wonder if we can find that out. Let's see.
Let me see if I can find out his cocaine era.
When did Stephen King stopped using cocaine?
Until 86, so he was off coke.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Well, he
well,
wasn't, I don't know if he
started
was
writing.
completely off, but he says he was a heavy user from 78 to 86, something like
Oh,
that.
okay. Okay. Yeah, it says the late 80s here. I didn't see an exact date. So yeah. He's just good at writing really weird shit, though. It's
He
cool though.
just
It's kind of cool
does
though. Like,
that stuff. I thought it was pretty funny. Like anytime Roland is trying to is basically just trying to deal with the modern world.
yeah, yeah, that's funny. Like, can I have a what is it that he calls a sandwich? Can I just have a pork gnocchi or what does he call it?
Oh, it was like a stuffer or poker or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. And all of the modern things like I could go for a cheeseburger and a bud. Eddie says, a bud? What's a bud? Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
such a weird freaking
it's
book. It
really
was like completely unexpected. I was not expecting anything like that at all.
yeah, it's very different from the first one.
Um,
It's cool
and he
though,
calls
like all
like
that
police
stuff. Like,
gunslingers.
yeah, yeah. And how he calls Eddie the prisoner, and it's interesting how he possesses the body of a junkie drug dealer basically, and by going through a portal and then inhabiting their mind, and then later on he possesses a disabled schizophrenic woman's body and then takes her back through another doorway to his parallel reality. And then there are like that's those weird lobster bird things.
Lobstrosities.
Yeah,
Data
lobstrosity
ching,
is the
damn
last
truck,
one.
data chung.
Yeah, that's speaking weird nonsense English phrases. Got a tongue, did it?
I was like, man, what the hell's wrong with Stephen King?
He's Stephen King, man. He likes writing bizarre shit. It's awesome bizarre shit though, especially some of it. Like some of his books are amazing. You know that.
Yeah, yeah. He says that he doesn't remember writing Cujo.
Yeah, that's a weird one for sure. That's one of his earlier ones. The I think my favorite classic one, which probably is still my all-time favorite Stephen King novel, is It. I think I read that last year. That one's fucking awesome.
Mm.
I like it even more than The Stand.
You like it more than The Stand? Huh.
Yeah,
I'll have to check that out.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I want to eventually do book chats about a whole bunch of Stephen King novels, like especially the ones where you see those connections to his kind of multiverse that he has in all of his stories. Like they're especially reading the Dark Tower series. Like remember, for example, that Parker pointed out that the Dark Man in the Stand is the same Dark Man in the Dark Tower series, and you notice some of the stuff like the Force of Ka in his other books, like in Insomnia, and there are a few other things like that that are similarities between Insomnia and the Dark Tower books. There are a whole lot of other similarities that I'm sure I haven't discovered yet too.
Mm. Yeah, I'm gonna get more into these Stephen King books. They're just so weird. It's
Yeah,
fascinating. I was
yeah,
like, man, he
exactly.
wouldn't be able to get away with writing this book today. People would be super pissed off
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But like
about the
especially
black
all
lady.
the yeah, exactly. Like all the different racial stuff that happens with that. Like he's a white guy who possesses the body of uh a black schizophrenic woman with no legs.
Yeah, it's just and then like he falls like what's his name? Eddie falls in love with like the good half of
Mhm.
the schizophrenic woman.
And then the other
And it's
one
like
is like trying to kill them and sabotage their mission.
yeah. It's like to a ridiculous degree and she's always accusing them of trying to rape her and poison her.
Yeah, it's so funny too. Like all the time, like every chance she gets, she goes, "No, don't touch me. You're gonna try to rape me." And then the one time Roland says something like, "If I would have raped you, I would have raped you. I would have raped you and left you for dead by now."
Yeah, because it's so much of a hassle, like hauling her
Yeah,
around, and she's not making it easy for them.
yeah, exactly.
And then he calls drugs like, what do you call it, magic weed or devil weed?
Oh yeah, like the devil's weed.
Um, and yeah, I thought Eddie was a pretty interesting character. He's like
It's
super
interesting
street
too.
smart.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it's interesting too how when there's the part where they're alternating between Eddie being possessed by Roland and not being possessed, the only physical part of him that changes is his eye color, which is really interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably like has something to do with that power that he uses to gain full possession of whoever he's inside, I guess.
Hmm.
It's such a weird book.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, there are how many? Six Dark Tower books?
No, there are at least seven. I think there might be
Seven?
I think there might be like 10 or so. I'm gonna look that up. How many Dark Tower books?
Holy crap, there's
Oh,
14?
14. Yeah, wow.
Holy shit. I guess there's like
And then
novellas or something?
most of them are fairly short. Like it's not the series as a whole, I'm sure is nowhere near as long as Wheel of Time, which is 15 books, including the prequel.
Well, they said that there's eight main books.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. And then there's some books that have some connections.
Oh,
So it's a
okay.
gunslinger, drawing of three wastelands, wizard and glass, other sisters of Valyria, wolves of the Callan, song of Susanna, the dark
Okay.
tower, and the wind through the keyhole.
Okay. I I got I think I bought like mm, maybe five of them from secondhand bookstores.
You got some of them?
Yeah. I think I have the first I think I have the first three or four, and then I think I have six and seven too, or six and eight. I don't remember.
Did you come across the Shining reference yet?
Oh yeah, I did. He's comparing something to the mansion in The Shining, right?
Yeah, Eddie was.
Yeah,
That's like self-referencing.
yeah, yeah.
I was like,
Referencing
what? He's
his own series in
talking
the same
about a
book.
movie based off of a book that he wrote.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting.
It's like, okay, that's strange. I
It
wonder
kind of reminds me of
if that's what he meant that when as I know when we talked to
Parker.
uh we talked to Parker and he mentioned that he referenced himself somewhere along in
Yeah.
these books.
I think that he said that he put himself in his own series, though. So I wonder
Yeah.
if it's just like I don't know, maybe a foreshadowing for that, or just like something that he did before he did that.
Hmm. But yeah, well, I'm interested in the series. Like this is like a total left turn from what I thought the next book would have been.
Yeah, I know.
After
It's a
reading the
pretty
first
interesting
book, I was
series.
like, holy shit, this is
Yeah.
like really different.
And I really wanted to get into it too because I love Stephen King and I wanted you to get into more Stephen King too. And we both like fantasy, and this is Stephen King's only it's one of it's not his only series. He has another kind of like loosely connected trilogy, but this is his only fantasy series that he's written, which is like fantasy horror western, which is such an interesting type of genre.
Yeah, it's such a weird series so far.
Yeah.
But I was really enjoying the lobstrosities.
Yeah, the monstrosities are so strange.
Um, but I heard that they were gonna make another movie. Of They were supposed to come out with another Dark Tower
Is it
movie.
is it supposed to be a sequel to the newer one with Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey?
Well, I was looking at a Wikipedia article, and well, it says Stephen King expressed hope for a sequel film in addition to the upcoming television series.
Oh, that
That'll
could
be
be cool.
R-rated.
It would be cool
What
if there was
television
that
series are we
were
talking about here?
series. Because I don't know if you finished it if you finished the Stand series yet, but I thought that was pretty good.
I only watched like 2 episodes. I didn't finish it. It's just like one of those things. There's just way too much stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I gotta
Yeah,
just finish it. I think I only finished the first episode maybe because the first episode
pretty
was
good.
entirely about like the geek dude,
Hmm. Yeah,
and I
and
I didn't get to like the other characters.
some of the changes are kind of annoying, but they do pretty much stick to the main events that happen in the movie for the most part, and I think they do a pretty good job of it. And
Because I watched the miniseries they made in the '90s.
right, yeah, I
You can
remember you
watch
mentioned
that
that.
on YouTube.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that.
Yeah, it has Gary Sinise in it.
Did you say that one seemed kind of cheesy?
Yeah, it was definitely cheesy. It's a miniseries, so it doesn't have like the production quality you would expect
The
from.
miniseries on Amazon Prime is pretty good though, and it seems to have pretty good production quality.
Well, I've seen that one, at least the first episode, and yeah, they poured some money into that.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, as far as I've seen so far, it looks pretty good.
yeah. I
But I
like
only
too
watched the
that
first one.
they have well, you've read the book, so this isn't a spoiler, but they have that kind of like surprise twist ending at the end of it that happens in the book too. So I was pleased by that.
Oh, okay. I was just thrown off a bit by the way they presented it because it's in the show. They kind of start halfway through the book and then they present the beginning of the book as flashbacks.
Yeah, it's like it kind of seems like they didn't want to spend so much time with them within after the virus had spread and killed so many people. It takes a long portion of the book for all of those people to get to the new settlement that Mother Abigail is starting.
Yeah, so right away he's like already there doing his body clearing job where he has to
Yeah.
clear out dead bodies, and then he kind of has flashbacks towards like the beginning of the story where he
Mhm.
meets with I forgot her name. Um,
Franny?
yeah, Franny, like that girl he's in love with,
Right.
and shows that like beginning part, and then them going off on motorcycles or whatever.
Yeah. Even though I'm not generally a fan of like slower moving plots, I do prefer the slower moving plot in the Stand book in comparison to the show because it fleshes out the characters a little more than they get than how they get fleshed out in the show. But they do a decent job of just capturing the nature of the characters in the show in the way that they are in the book.
Yeah, so you actually finished it? How there's like what, 6, 7 episodes, or how many
I
episodes
think
are
I'm pretty sure there are 10.
there? Man, and they're all like an hour long.
Yeah.
So you got hooked into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get back to it eventually. It's just I don't know. It depends on which streaming service it's on. Depends on how much I'll watch of it.
It's
So
on Prime.
yeah, well on mine it's on Paramount Plus.
Oh, okay.
So I would have to go through like some other avenues in order to get to it. I have Paramount Plus, but I don't have it on all my devices. I just have it on my TV.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I just need to put it on more devices. And you said you watch it on Prime?
Yeah,
Let me see if I can
it's not on
find it on
Prime for you?
Prime, because if it's on my Prime, I can watch it while I'm at work.
Okay. I haven't gotten Paramount Plus. I don't want to get yet another streaming service, but I
Yeah,
hope
me
I
for
hope
mine, I'd have to. Yeah, it's not like I could watch it on Prime, but I'd have to subscribe to Paramount Plus through Prime,
Oh, okay.
so it's
I
not
want to get
native to
another.
Prime.
I hope South Park doesn't move to Paramount Plus now because I know I haven't watched their COVID special because it was only on Paramount Plus.
Okay,
Hmm.
but yeah, I'll get around to it eventually. I guess
That's
one thing I have noticed is that a lot of Stephen King books apparently have like a lot of bad miniseries associated with them.
and a lot of bad movies too. There are definitely bad movie versions of some of his.
Which ones are bad movies?
Um, I can't actually recall any specific examples off of my head, but I definitely remember seeing movie versions that were based on the books that haven't been that good. There was a newer there was a newer mini series based on The Mist that I thought was pretty good though, and there was a um I think it's called I think it's called The Tall Grass or something similar to that. There's a short story that he wrote that was in amongst the collection of short stories written by his son named Joe Hill, who is also a really good horror author, and I've read some of his books. But there was an adaptation of that one on Netflix. I'm pretty sure it was that I thought was pretty good too.
Okay. All right. I just need to get more Stephen King stuff in.
Yeah. Like some of it is hit or miss for some people. Like some of them aren't the best, but he also has some really fucking awesome books.
And he has some misses.
Yeah, like I think most people are for the most part correct that a lot of his newer stuff isn't as good as especially his classic stuff, but some of his newer stuff is all right too. But yeah, he's so fucking prolific that it's like impossible to run out of good Stephen King books to read anyway. So
Mm. Well, how many
yeah.
books are there?
Oh man, I bet he's written at least 100 books.
That
He's
many? Jesus Christ.
well, he's been writing books since the 70s, right? And he puts them out fairly frequently, I'm pretty sure. How many books has
Let
Stephen
me see how many
King?
Stephen King movies are. 88. Jesus
Holy
Christ.
shit, wow.
There's
Stephen
88 Stephen
King.
King movies?
Oh, Stephen King has published 63 novels.
What? The Shawshank
Yeah.
Redemption is Stephen King?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. It's one of the rare
What?
ones that isn't really like there's
Who
nothing
is this guy, a billionaire or what?
he must be by now, man.
Like, dude, he has that many movies?
Yeah, there have been a lot of Stephen King adaptations and a lot of remakes of adaptations too, like The Stand, like we mentioned. There's a movie version and a TV version of The Mist. There were two movie versions of Pet Cemetery, two of The Dark Tower, a whole bunch of others. Oh, two versions of It. A lot, definitely.
Uh, it says he's only has 63 novels.
Yeah, yeah, I mentioned that.
So there are more Stephen King movies than there are novels.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Oh yeah, I didn't even realize that. Oh
That's
wow.
pretty crazy that there are more
Yeah,
movies than novels.
he has so many. There's one, I forget. Oh yeah, it's called Salem's Lot. I got a copy of that one at a a secondhand
Oh
book.
shit! Under
Haven't
the
read it
Dome
yet.
was a Stephen King novel.
Under the Dome was. Oh, I didn't know that.
Me neither. I saw like some of that show. I had no idea it was like Stephen King.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's one called Salem's Lot, which I bought, but I haven't read yet. But I'm really excited to read because, as far as I know, it's his only vampire novel that he's written. And I love vampires.
Okay. Wow. So 63 novels, five nonfiction books, 19 screenplays.
Wow. He must have been involved with some of the movie adaptations, I guess. I didn't know he had written five nonfiction. I read his really well known nonfiction one called On Writing, which is advice to writers, which was really helpful to me when I was first deciding to start writing some fiction.
It looks like he has 11 short story anthologies.
Yeah, he has a lot of short stories. A lot of his short stories are really cool too. I
Mm,
like short stories. Like I like both novels and short stories. I like all the character development and stuff in novels, but sometimes I really like in short stories how there has to be this really tightly constructed plot, and there's usually no character development, and it's just a really exciting plot. There are some really great short stories, like those two Isaac Asimov ones that we read, the last question and the last answer, which are really
hmm
cool about like an AI who survives the heat death of the universe and then becomes God before that and becomes metaphysical and then restarts the universe. And then the second one, the mathematician goes to the afterlife and is doomed to solve math problems forever. So he decides that he wants to kill God.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. I don't know. He must come up with all these stories. It's so weird. And he's still writing. It looks. Let me see. Is he right? Let me see what his writing is.
I just
Looks
want
like
to just
one
looked
to
up.
two books a year. Looks like this
Yeah,
is.
and he's 74 now. I just saw.
He just loves to write
Really,
stories, man.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, his
I don't know if you've
first.
ever seen any interviews of him, but there's some interviews with him on YouTube that he's done, and he seems like just a regular, really cool, down to earth guy. Like people have this misconception if you're an artist who writes some fucked up shit that you must be fucked up yourself, but it can just be like an exercise of your imagination. It doesn't have to be anything reflective at all of your personality. I've written some pretty fucking dark and fucked up shit too. I tend to, but I don't have any like darker fucked up thoughts about real life or anything like that. It's definitely what the imagination is for.
Yeah, it's definitely his stuff is unexpected.
Yeah,
Like I didn't know where this book was gonna go. Just like, wow, this is so weird.
yeah,
Not what I expected at all.
yeah, me neither. Yeah, I'm excited to see where the series goes.
Me too. Um, Decided to check out more Stephen King in general.
Me too. Yeah, if you get a chance, check out like I said, one of my absolute favorites is It, and another one of my favorites is Bag of Bones. Those are both really good ones.
Hmm. I saw that on the list there.
Cool.
But man, well, there's endless stuff to read there. Um, I guess take forever to read all of his books if I even tried.
Ah, it's a good problem to have. Never that many good books to read.
But yeah, maybe I wonder if I'll start from the beginning.
Yeah, you could do that. That could be a good idea.
Try to get all the Stephen King.
I wonder if I bet it's almost a guarantee that someone on Reddit or someone online has compiled a list of how you would want to read the Stephen King novels if you want to read them in chronological order. which would be interesting because I bet they're out of sequence in comparison to the way that they were published.
I think I'd just read them chronologically, like publishing order, if I
Yeah,
was gonna do
I'm
it.
sure that would work. Like he doesn't have he doesn't have a constructed universe within his stories in anywhere near to the same degree that someone like Brandon Sanderson does.
Oh, like the Cosmere.
Yeah, yeah.
I was reading that Sanderson's inspiration for the Cosmere was the Foundation series.
Oh, cool. I thought you might have mentioned before that it was Isaac Asimov. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, we
Yeah,
talked
so
before about how it's cool that you can see between the robot and the Foundation and Isaac
and
Asimov
then
wrote
I
it.
gotta check out the Foundation TV show.
Oh yeah, me too. Where is that again?
It's on Apple TV, so if I were to
Oh,
watch it,
okay.
I have to find it on a super secret site.
Yeah, I'll have to hear.
I
Yeah, that
still
would be
gotta
interesting.
finish his Dark Materials. Like I finished the first season, I think the second season's out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I gotta watch that at some point too. So many good
First
shows to
season was
watch.
pretty good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard it was good. So many good movies to watch and good books to read. There's probably a
So
lot.
much. It's overwhelming.
All right.
And then
Well,
you have my dumb ass watching One Piece.
what's wrong with One Piece?
It's really goofy.
I've heard that it's really good. I haven't watched any of their videos, but I've heard that Daniel Green and Murphy Napier like it a lot.
Well, it probably does get pretty good, but early on it's really goofy.
Okay.
And it reminds me of like Dragon Ball starts off really goofy and then it gets serious.
Oh yeah, especially yeah, like even between the comparison between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I kind of have that feeling that but this has a really slow build. I'm like 10 episodes in. I'm like, man, this is no more than 10, probably like 12. It's like, yeah, this is a really goofy show. Like, when is it gonna get like super cool and hardcore?
Yeah. Well, maybe you just have to have some patience, like you do with lots of stuff. And you're better at that
Yeah,
than me, as you know.
yeah, probably. Like, if I'm gonna put myself through that many episodes of One Piece, and I started rewatching Death Note too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I still haven't watched that yet. I know you've recommended it a few times, but same problem as you, too many awesome things to watch and read.
Well, fortunately, it's on Netflix, so I can watch it at 1.5 speed.
Right.
But yeah, yeah, man, too much stuff to watch. I even thought
Yeah.
about watching Lost again.
I've seen that twice actually, because I think it's a really great show until the ending. The ending is really disappointing, but it's it's really great until the ending.
So you've watched Lost twice?
Yeah,
Okay, I've only seen it once.
I think it's definitely good enough to that it's worth watching a second time.
Yeah, I think it's my wife's favorite show outside of Game of Thrones. I can't wait to hear your critique of like the final couple seasons when you get to No Man's Land. Uh-oh, did you freeze there? Oh, there you go. Oh, you're
No, I was
bonging
just
it.
taking a huge bump.
Bonging it.
Yep. Yeah, I've heard that
Um,
especially season 8 was that like the way they ended the show was really rushed and terrible apparently. I didn't know
yeah,
your
you'll have to
favorite
see
show
it.
was Game of Thrones. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you'll have to see it. Because I have no confidence that George R. R. Martin is going to live to see the end of this series.
Yeah, me neither at this point. He's in his
Uh,
70s, right?
yeah, he's like 74. He still
They
got
just
two
keep
more
him.
books, and he's working on this other project for the prequel series for
Yeah.
HBO.
It's like he's trying to not finish the original books.
Yeah, and I heard Rothfuss read the prologue of his third book, which everyone
Oh, I
was
didn't
going
know that.
crazy over.
Oh yeah, the new Malazan, is it that he writes?
King Killer.
King Killer, right. Oh yeah, did I see on Goodreads that you just recently started reading that?
Goodreads, I started A Little Hatred.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Oh, I definitely want to read that too.
Did I give you a copy?
No, send it to me if you can, man.
Okay, I'll have to send that to you.
Sweet. Is that his supposed to be his the start of his new trilogy?
Yeah, right now I'm having a little bit mixed feelings about it
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I
because it's
definitely want
giving
to.
me like the Heroes vibes.
Oh, okay. So kind of like a pretty slow plot.
Well, what I liked about the original trilogy is that the POVs were like relegated to like the main characters.
Mm-hmm.
And then it seems like this one has like POVs. I don't know how to explain it. Like, okay, the POVs we got were like the main characters, like the main group of people that were traveling with Baez plus Glokta. And it seems like the new one is like, oh, it's everybody, even the bad guys we have POVs of. It's like, kind of don't like it
Oh,
that
so it's
much.
too many characters. I see what you mean.
I won't say it was too many characters. It's just like I don't like having the POVs of the bad guys.
Oh, okay. I do. It depends. I mean, it depends on how it's done, though. Like if it's done in a way where there are no surprises in the plot because you see into the bad guy's mind, so there's no mystery because we don't know. We're not like with the heroes, kind of discovering it as it goes along. I could see that.
Yeah, like I like some of the new characters. Um, and I'm actually there are some exciting scenes. It just takes a while for this book to like really start rolling. Because I was like, man, when is there going to be some action? I don't think there's any action till like halfway through the book.
Oh wow. Oh okay.
Yeah. So you're like, man, I'm just kind of itching for some actual punching, and when it comes, it's good. But we're like, wait, why is it coming so late in the book?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's too bad. I still definitely have to read it though.
And then yeah, and then once it gets to that halfway point, like there's actually a lot of punching that happens.
Oh okay. Cool. Good.
But yeah, it starts off super slow. Second half of the book is definitely much better. I like the pacing much better. I was like glued to it more. But that first
Good.
half is pretty rough.
Oh, okay. Oh, since we're talking about books, I'm just about finished reading Leviathan Falls, the final book in the Expanse series.
Yeah, I was gonna read that next after I was done with The Little Hatred.
I'm pretty pleased. I'm pretty pleased so far. It was a little slower to me at first, but it sounds like nowhere near as slow as A Little Hatred was. But I think about halfway through, or maybe a little bit before then, it starts to get really fascinating and cool.
Well, I like the last book, so I'm looking forward to this one. Like my least favorite book of the series is I think book 6.
Okay. I can't remember which one is my least favorite. Maybe four? I'm not sure.
4? What was 4? 4 is when they go to the alien planet. Crazy ass
Oh,
book.
definitely. No, not four then. Four is a good one. Maybe it was five. It must have been
4
five
is
or
freaking like ridiculously fast paced. There's like so
yeah,
much
yeah. It must
shit
not have
going
been
on,
four
man.
then.
I
Oh
think
man,
most.
you gotta read that Red Rising series too. I just finished recently the last one, Dark Age. Man,
That's
my
good.
favorite one is still the third one, the last one in the original trilogy. And then, in my opinion, four wasn't as good as three for sure. But five was a really cool way to end the series. It's a
Okay.
really cool sci-fi fantasy series. It reminded me of Dune in some ways.
Okay. Yeah, book six in Expanse is when they fight the Free Army.
Oh, okay.
It's the book after the Earth gets destroyed.
Oh yeah, the actually, you know what? I think it might have been five because I think it was the one where the Earth gets destroyed.
You don't
That
like that one? You thought that was
I
a.
think that one was my least favorite.
Oh, the one after that one is my least favorite.
Oh, okay.
Um, because that book five is when everyone gets split up,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
book six is when everybody fights Marco, whoever his name is, and I think Naomi escapes,
right.
and the son like defects, and the whole free army gets destroyed by the glitch in the gate system.
Hmm. Yeah, the gate system gets really like even more interesting in the final book.
Oh yeah, it was getting interesting in book seven, so I have to see how they how they do that, how they deal with that.
Yeah, for sure. All
With
right. Well, I think we should end it here for now. Man, been talking for a couple hours, and of course, we talked about lots of cool, nerdy movies and TV shows and books, as we usually do. In addition to the awesome Die Hard 2, which I forgot to mention, we were talking at the start of this. We were talking about it on the 26th. I wanted to talk about it right around Christmas because not quite as much as the first one, but this one also, in my opinion, definitely is a Christmas movie because it also takes place on Christmas Eve, and there's Christmas music and Christmas cheer at the end, and everyone's all happy. So it's definitely still one of my favorite Christmas movies. The first one is better, and
hmm
so yeah, thanks everyone for watching this. Hope you found our discussion about the movie and nerding out about other stuff as usual to be interesting. And look forward to our next movie chat. Like I was saying, hopefully next time for our next movie chat, we can talk about that long ass Snyder cut of Justice League, which is apparently the nerds love a lot more than the theatrical. And I personally think it's a lot better than the theatrical too. And there's some really cool world building in there that integrates some like sci-fi and fantasy and or sorry, sci-fi and fantasy superhero stuff, which is really interesting. And yeah, thanks to everyone for subscribing and click that bell to be notified when I come out with new videos. I'm going to be doing a conversation next week actually with Parker, who Dusty and I do move or book chats rather a lot with, and we're going to do our next book chat on that second Dark Tower book, the drawing of the three. So Parker and I, and also my Orthodox Christian friend Shane Kennedy, we're going to be talking about psychedelics and religion and how psychedelics are a religious experience, in our opinion, because it really feels like a divine experience when you do psychedelics. And I know that, and Shane and Parker are both huge Jordan Peterson fans, and he likes to talk about how everything is religious basically. So I know they like that for that reason. I don't think that Shane. I'm not sure if Shane has done psychedelics, but I know that Parker has. So that'll be a fun discussion. And yeah, thanks to everyone, especially also for subscribing to my Patreon page. If you want to give me like $1 a month, even that's really cool. And yeah, like I always say, keep being the tiny beam of light that shines through the almost impenetrable darkness in the universe. And most importantly, always remember this: the funk cures all, and groove is in the heart. and watch the Die Hard movies. They're all pretty good, except for the fifth one. You could skip that if you want to. And yeah. Anything else you want to say before? Oh, wait. Actually, another thing I can say for you is, of course, check out Dusty's channel, Woke Centrist, where next week, like we were talking about before. Oh, wait, no, that was before we started this. Dusty, Tristram, and I will finally be talking about the season finale, episode 8 of season 1 of Wheel of Time, and what seems to so far be universal disappointment and opinion that the season finale is the worst episode of the season. So look forward to us comparing them to the books and being disappointed about that. And yeah, anything else you want to say before we end it there, Dusty?
Yeah, I forgot to ask you, what's Boxing Day?
What's Boxing Day? Is that it? Is that a Canadian thing?
That's definitely not a US thing.
Oh, okay. It's just the I didn't even know that was a Canadian thing. Um, but it's just the day after Christmas. When there are usually a lot of sales. It's yeah, it's just called boxes because there are lots of boxes around from Christmas presents, I guess, and you can get a lot of really good deals at stores.
Oh,
My
okay. I just never
my
heard of
my dad and
Boxing
my
Day.
uncle used to like to go to stores just to get basically pummeled by crowds. But you can do all your shopping online now anyway. So, and especially with COVID, most people are probably doing that anyway. But Boxing Day sales are cool. Isn't that
Oh,
like
okay.
do you have like a bunch of day after Christmas sales in America?
Nope, not really. I think I'm looking at
Oh,
Boxing Day, and it's something. It's part of countries that have affiliation with the British Empire.
oh, I didn't even know that. I usually know the differences between holidays because my dad was born in the U.S., so he knows like a lot of the differences between the Canadian and U.S. holidays and customs and that sort of thing.
Yeah, because in Canada, Boxing Day is a federal holiday, so we don't have a Boxing Day anything here.
Oh, too bad for you, I guess. Canada has
Yeah,
universal health care also and federally legal weed.
yeah. Oh, it's kind
All
of like
right.
a Black Friday. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that kind of like that in terms of the sales for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
All
Well,
right.
yeah, thanks everyone again for watching and check out Dusty's channel, Woke Centrist, next week for our analysis and deep dive into season finale of season 1 of Wheel of Time. And yeah, adios until next time.
All right. You take it easy.